Hey family, and welcome to another episode of Family Maple. I'm Raymond. So we have Marvel United playing through our campaign, and today we're going back to basics. We are back in the core box. So we have got Ant-Man, who will be fighting alongside Wasp, and we'll be taking on Taskmaster from the Black Widow film. So let's have a look at Taskmaster's villain board first of all. So there are no special setup rules, so we're not playing with a super villain mode in this instance. So we have got Taskmaster and the BAMs here. Bring this over. So let's have a look. So when BAMs deals 1 point of damage to each hero in Taskmaster's location and adds a crisis token at the actual location itself rather than on the hero. And then in the event of overflow, then if one or more tokens cannot be added to a location, then add a crisis token on a location. And special rules for Taskmaster: our heroes cannot damage Taskmaster as long as there are any crisis tokens anywhere on the board. So heroes can discard a crisis token from a location with no civilians or thugs by using a heroic feat or an attack action there. So that's how Taskmaster works. So again, as you can see, very different to any of the other foes that we've played against so far. So let's bring it back to the tabletop. Okay, so I haven't shuffled up the locations, so as we are back to basics, we are using just the core locations. So let's give them a quick shuffle to randomise what they've got. Now, one of these does enable us to get rid of crisis tokens, so it would be quite cool if that was to come about, but we'll have a look and see what we get. So we start with Central Park, and apologies, I've still got a bit of a glare there. So Central Park is at the end of the turn. You may move up to 2 civilians or thugs in any combination from this location to another one. So that could enable us to help get that cleared. We've got Times Square. You may rescue 1 civilian from this location if you end your turn here. We have Shield Headquarters. So at the end of your turn, you may discard a card from your deck to search for another card. Oh no, here we go. May discard a card from your hand to the bottom of your deck in order to remove a crisis token from anywhere. So that could very much come into play, folks. Today we'll see. So that's the Shield Headquarters. Try and remember that one. The Shield Headquarters there. We've got Stark Labs, and your turn a soft card for any card through the storyline. So that's really good to be able to swap that out. Can be really useful. We've got the Avengers Tower, so you may search your deck for a card, set it aside and shuffle your deck, place that on top. That's what I thought that was going to be. And then the Helicarrier, so you may move to any other location. So again, potentially useful, particularly when you're trying at the end of the game to need to chase down your villain as they're moseying around the board. Okay, so we've got the deck of plans. There we go, and threats. So let's have a look at the threats for Taskmaster. We have elite thugs. So each thug in this location requires 2 damage to be defeated as opposed to the normal 1. So that toughens those. We have an entangled trap. So heroes using their move to grayed out because of the green, apologies. So heroes using their move to leave this location must use 2 movers. So you can see it's really about just bringing about that grind in order to try and bring down Taskmaster. And then explosive trap. Each civilian in this location requires an extra heroic feat to rescue. Okay, and then we've got more elite thugs and another entangled trap and another explosive trap. Okay, so lots of traps. You can see now how Taskmaster operates across the board. I will roll a dice to see where Taskmaster will begin. So on location 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So over in Times Square, meaning Ant-Man and the Wasp will be starting off in Avengers Tower, and then we just need to populate these locations. We'll get those all set up. Okay. There we are, folks. So yeah, we've got to try and control those crisis tokens. There isn't a sort of a starting card or any special rules for Taskmaster. Obviously with the X-Men set, they introduce start cards for both heroes and villains, so that kind of looks to address some of the start conditions to a degree. It just changes up how they work and operate. But definitely the concept came about even in this original Kickstarter, as we saw in our last game. Okay, so we are all set and ready to go. We need a number of health, so we have just 2 health on Taskmaster, so that is what we need to use to bring him down. And we're using our standard missions here, so clearing threats, defeating thugs and rescuing civilians. Okay, so we're going to draw our starting hand, as always, playing left to right. So starting with Ant-Man, we will play. What do we have? So we've already got a couple of those starting abilities, so that's good. So Shrink cannot be damaged this turn, adds an extra wild to the timeline. And of course there we've got the Giant Man, the Grow attack. So move and attack 3 times and adds a move to the timeline. There is only a single target attack. But do you know what? We've got a double wild, so that's really good. Let's see what Taskmaster is going to do. So first action. So Taskmaster will begin by moving 2 locations and bam. So there are no heroes there, but he will proceed to add a crisis token to that location. So off to a cracking start. And we'll then proceed to put out civilians. So we've got 1, 2 and 3 civilians going out. Okay. So they have, he has acted. So we are up with Ant-Man. A weird sort of glowing going on in the quite sure what that is. Apologies, the glare. Going to try and work on these lights to take care of that. So yeah, that's annoying. Okay. I'm distracting myself now, apologies. Okay, so we'll start with the double wild being the most powerful card of all, and we'll put that into place. Let's come to the top. So we're over here. We can't do anything against Taskmaster at the moment, so we need to have a look at clearing out some locations, getting these missions completed. Now thankfully there are no thugs here in Ant-Man's location where we've got the elite thugs, so it might be prudent to seize that opportunity and put a couple of heroic feats out, start clearing off this crisis token. I always feel a bit overwhelmed, I guess, at the beginning of the game, and you kind of sat there looking at the board thinking, what am I doing again? Okay, so then we have got the Wasp, No glare, beautiful. Yeah, it's frustrating, apologies. So we've got the 3-card start, and we'll draw 4th card to begin. Okay, so lots of move, lots of attack. Definitely useful. So yeah, let's just continue as we mean to go and do a so Wasp, she will move, and we'll proceed to do an attack. So it's a move and attack, and then we've got 2 wilds. So how about we do a further attack and a rescue. Let's divvy up the workloads as we go. Okay, so we are back to Ant-Man. He's got a single wild now. Okay, we're at the brink of overflow here, but I can't really do a lot of damage. Therefore, what am I going to do? In fact, you know what I'm going to do? Let's get this crisis token cleared. We'll use the double heroic to so the first heroic straight off will clear this threat. So that's 1 in the pool. We will then do a move, and let's put another heroic feat out, and we'll no, I'm not going to do the heroic feat. I'm going to rescue a civilian, and we'll defeat another thug. So this is our, and we need to get rid of this next. Sorry. So we've cleared this, and we've moved to Taskmaster's location, and we've defeated a thug, and we've cleared a civilian. So we need to clear these out in order to get rid of this. So we absolutely have to do that, because we can't do anything with Taskmaster until that's cleared. So that's our priority right now. In the meantime, we've done 3 hero actions. So here Taskmaster will stay where he is, and he will bam. Okay, so coming back out then, so we've got Ant-Man in his location. He hasn't moved, so that's where he'll bam. He'll do 1 point of damage to Ant-Man. So Shrink is more powerful than just the single wild on its own, so we'll leave that as is. And he's then going to put another crisis token out on that location. I presume these are stackable. 1 crisis token there, doesn't say unless otherwise, so let's play like that. Okay, so Ant-Man was the last to go. We are back to Wasp. So Wasp's got her double wild, very nice. So let's put the double wild into play, and we've got double wild, double heroic. Okay, we've done a great job up here clearing this helicarrier. So let's move across to Central Park. That's a move. And do you know what? I'm going to clear this crisis, this threat. Do I want to do that? Yeah, so it's a move, and we'll clear the threat. So that's another threat gone, and ending my turn there may move up to 2 civilians or thugs in any combination from this location to any other location. So I think that's quite handy, and I think I'll move 1 of each back across to the helicarrier for now. So at least it gives us plenty of capacity, plenty of space, really control that overflow and prevent that happening for additional crisis tokens being generated. Okay, so that was Wasp. We are now back to Ant-Man. So Ant-Man has a move and a heroic feat. with the double wild to boot. So that's really good. So you could do, I mean, you could clear another crisis token, but another threat. But I do not think I want to be doing that just yet. We need to be focusing on populating these missions in order that we can then get to attacking Taskmaster. So let's focus on clearing out these foes. So this is my current best action for Ant-Man, because at least it gives us those additional actions that we can do. So we'll use the heroic feat to clear a civilian, so it's rescue a civilian. We'll use a punch to defeat a thug, and do you know what, I'm going to stay where I am again. I'm going to chance it, and I'm going to get rid of those 2 crisis tokens, so we are a clear board, because remember, if any crisis tokens anywhere at all, we cannot attack Taskmaster. So we're progressing well on the missions, and we're holding ground with those crisis tokens. So that was Ant-Man. We are back to Wasp. So we have more heroic feats. Am I at a stage where I want to clear? Do you know what? I don't think I am, but I am going to clear a whole bunch of civvies. So let's have a look. So where we are at Central Park, we have a civilian to rescue here, and then I will use the move from Ant-Man to jump across the Times Square, and we'll rescue another 2 civilians there. So we are doing well on that track. So we're about halfway overall on those missions. So it is now Taskmaster's 3rd action, so he will now move 2, and we'll do a BAM. So there's no heroes there to cause damage to, but we'll add a crisis token to the helicarrier. So once again, protected from damage, and he's going to put out more thugs. Let's have a look at those. Thankfully we cleared ourselves plenty of air room, so didn't suffer any overflow, although Avengers Tower got close. Okay, so we've got a thug out, thug, so we've got a little bit of capacity left on the helicarrier, plenty of capacity in Central Park, and we've run out of capacity in the Avengers Tower. So that is it for Taskmaster's task. We've got double heroic in the queue lined up for Ant-Man's next action. So we've got another heroic beat. Where are we at, people? So we want to do rescuing. We don't have any where we are, so we probably want to do a move. Bit of a waste to use the grow. Ideally want to keep that for an end shot, so we're going to go for the wild over the heroic, because that gives us the ability to move, because there isn't anything other than clearing another threat, which I'm not sure I want to do just yet. And if I wanted to clear a threat, I'm guessing it's more headquarters that gave us shield headquarters that gave us that crisis token clearance. So let's move across here, and I'm going to rescue 2 civilians. So we're nearly there now with the civilian front on our mission clearance. So we've moved across to shield headquarters, and we've used the additional to enact that. So he is now protected, cannot be damaged. I've got a special token for that somewhere, but I'll have to dig that out. Okay, so that was Ant-Man. Back to Wasp. So Wasp has a move. We've got plenty of move and attack, and a wild. So how about we gather together in Shield headquarters and work to taking down... Yes, I think that works. Okay, so we're going to defeat this thug here, the remaining thug at Times Square. We're going to move, and for the wild, we're going to allocate the first of the 3 required heroic feats towards clearing this entangled trap. Okay, so we are back to Ant-Man. Ant-Man has Quantum Leap. So let's have a look at this. So swap this card with any card from the storyline. This becomes your played card this turn, so that's beautiful. So it means we can, if you remember, we had Ant-Man's very first card was his double wild, so we can swap that out and get that back into play, which is fantastic. So with the double wild back in play, and a move and a punch, let's enact the punch first of all to defeat another thug. The double wild we will use to clear this threat, which gives us the ability to get rid of these crisis tokens if we're ending our turn there. So we'll allocate that threat to our missions. And what do I want to do in my final wild? I mean, I could move. I mean, the other half of the board is this half of the board is now completely clear. We probably need to be working our way around the other half. So let's go ahead and move to Stark Labs. Or do I want to end there? No, do you know what? I'm going to end there and I'm going to get rid of this crisis token. Let's do that instead. So we're doing great on controlling what's happening across the board. So that's those 3 actions done, and we are back to Taskmaster. So Taskmaster will move 1 and do his BAM, so there's no one there to cause damage to, but we'll put a crisis token back out. And then we have putting out 3 civilians. A helicarrier is now full, so that is at capacity. Thankfully we cleared the crisis token from there already, so that's a minimal concern presently. And one more, there we go. So that is Times Square has a civvy. Okay, so that's it for Taskmaster's action, and we are back to Wasp. So look, so energy projection for the Wasp, so you can move to any location and attack there. So that's quite nice, particularly that chase down. So that's a final action card we're coming up with, along with Ant-Man's triple attack. Okay, so what do we want to do? We want to do a move and attack. We need to move. We've got double wild, so we can move 2. Do I want to put myself in Central Park? How are we doing, folks? So we want to be clearing these thugs. So yeah, so let's do a we're going to do the move and attack, and the plan is then to move once and twice using the wild to put us in Central Park, and then the other wild and attack we'll do to clear the thugs. So we are now on the brink of clearing all of our missions. We need 1 of everything. So we're doing great guns, folks. We are back to Ant-Man. And Ant-Man has, apologies, my cards stuck together, a heroic feat and an attack action. So heroic feat and attack action. So definitely will be playing. Don't want to be playing that. Don't want to do the move, double move, and attack instead. The attack, the issue is, folks, the attack is going to be wasted. However, I need to be doing a double move. A single move doesn't really cut it. It feels like a bit of a waste, folks, and yeah, it is what it is. Okay, so I'm going to do a double move. I can't do an attack, I can't do anything else. Okay, so we are back to the Wasp, sorry. So Wasp has her wings. Oh, what you want when you're chasing the villain down at the end. You may move yourself and any number of heroes from your location to any other location, which is fantastic. End game card. So when you're chasing the villain down. Okay, so we're going to play the single wild in order to clear. I can move and do something. What do I want to do? This is our third action, folks. The problem I have right now is if I clear anything, we're in trouble. So I'm going to move and put a heroic feat out on Times Square. Let's see how that fares. So we are back to Taskmaster. Oof, move 5. So moves to the helicarrier and doesn't ban, but puts out and triggers overflow. Wow, okay, in 2 locations, so that is an extra 2 crisis tokens we are now going to have to deal with ahead of being able to attack Taskmaster. So we've put out 2 tokens in Central Park for the thugs and civvies. We could not put any more out in Avengers Tower or in the helicarrier, so in overflow we put out a crisis token in each of those locations. Okay, so half of the board now has crisis tokens. That is not a good place to be in. So Wasp was acted last. We are back to Ant-Man. So Ant-Man has lots of heroics. Okay, and there's a wild there, so let's clear. Let's see what we can do then, folks. So we'll do a move using the wild, and we'll do the last 2 heroics from that to clear this last threat. And thankfully enough, we also have the ability for Times Square. At the end of your turn, you may rescue a civilian here, which we will do, which means Taskmaster is now vulnerable. Awesome. And if we defeat one more thug along the way, we get to draw an extra card, so that could definitely be handy. So that was a great piece of work there from Ant-Man. Well done. But we can't actually attack Taskmaster right now because there are 3 crisis tokens. I mean, this is probably going to be our best place to try and address those, providing Taskmaster moves. Ooh, okay, so we're back to Wasp. So Wasp has her energy projection, so she can move and do a double attack somewhere. I mean, there are 2 civilians over, 2 thugs over there. That would give us an extra card each as well, so that could certainly be handy. Or is she better to move once? That's probably, she moves there, she's going to be stuck there as it's harder to get out due to the entangling trap. She has got the wings, and both of us could move to where Taskmaster currently is. I'm not convinced that's a great choice. I think maybe using, I think at this stage, I think we're going to go with wings to move both of us to shield headquarters, and at the end of the turn I'll clear a crisis token. I'm going to clear this one that's furthest away. It's not quite, but it's furthest away in the helicarrier. So let's clear that one. Okay, so I'm edging my bets here, folks. I could move again. There's no point moving again. Yeah, back to Taskmaster. So Taskmaster will move one, and bam, trigger another. That crisis token I just cleared comes back out. Thankfully, the other locations, however, have capacity, so we will put those out. There's no damage to any of us, but it does mean an additional, due to the ban, crisis token coming out. And apologies, I should do it in order and I failed to do that, but we got there. Okay, so we now have 2 crisis tokens over in Central Park. We've got a space capacity for something else. We triggered overflow at the helicarrier, which put that crisis token back out that we just cleared, and we had plenty of capacity in Times Square, so we put out a thug in Times Square. Okay. Okay, folks, where are we up to? If we could defeat one more thug, that could be beneficial. In the meantime, it's back to Ant-Man. So Ant-Man has, these cards are sticking together, apologies, sleeves, or newly sleeved. So we have sorry, that's an attack. We've got heroic feat, an attack, and we've got a single move in the timeline from Wasp, last action. So what is it worth us doing, folks? Flipping it. I've got no way to move any more than that. That's frustrating. Okay. We're going to have to get clearing, so let's move to Times Square and we'll defeat a thug, and there isn't anything else, but that does draw us an extra card each. Awesome, so let's do that. Okay, we are definitely on the home run now, folks. Can we clear these crisis tokens and get to Taskmaster is the question. So over to Wasp. Wasp will draw her last card. Cannot take any damage. She can do so her shrink enables her to avoid taking damage and add some wilds to the timeline. I can move to any location and attack there, and then do another attack. And that's probably going to be her best bet at this stage, because we need to clear these crisis tokens. So let's go ahead with that. So she's going to come over here and clear these 2. And then she also has a heroic feat. Heroic feat and another attack. Well, the attack goes to waste, but she does get the heroic feat to clear these pavilions. So we've done a great job clearing that out. And we are back to Taskmaster. So Taskmaster will move 3. 1, 2, 3. Over at Start Labs, there's no one there. There's no people there. There isn't a ban, but we'll put out 3 civilians. We can take off these cards now. We've completed these missions. Apologies. Okay, so putting out civilian at Start Labs, civilian at headquarters. Oh, and there's another overflow at Avengers Tower. Flipping heck. Wow, these crisis tokens are coming thick and fast, folks. And we are fast running out of cards is the issue. They're all single action cards as well. Oh, what a kicker. Okay, we may well not do this, folks. We have run out of actions, is how I feel we are now lacking to progress. So just move those down slightly. So we are back to Ant-Man. Ant-Man will draw his final card. Another single action. Not what we wanted. I've got an attack in the timeline. Okay, let's do a... She's going to struggle to move from there now as well. Oh, this is not great, folks. Okay, we need to do a move, and we'll do an attack and clear a thug. So Wild went up, used that as a move to move to Central Park, and then defeated a thug. In fact, actually, I can move up to 2 civvies or thugs. So with that Wild and having a quick look at Wasp's actions, I mean, it doesn't make a tremendous amount of difference, but I'm just thinking that she's now potentially stuck there. Let's clear those and see if that helps any. I'm not convinced it will, but it might. Okay, so then we are back to Wasp, and Wasp cannot do a lot of stuff, so she will do her heroic feat to rescue a civvy and use a Wild to punch a thug and stay where she is. And we are back to villain. Oh, he's going to stay where he is. Okay, Dark Schemes. Let's have a look. So if there are no heroes in Taskmaster's location, place a crisis token there. Another crisis token. I think we have absolutely lost this, folks. We have currently got 6 crisis tokens out on the board. 2, 4, 5, 6. There's no way we're going to clear those crisis tokens, not with a whole bunch of single actions. We have been defeated, absolutely defeated by Taskmaster. Just ran amok with us, even with completing all the missions, even with having used all of our cards. I can't see this now being turned around. So we are back to Ant-Man. Ant-Man has a heroic feat in the timeline, so let's add another heroic feat there, and we will rescue the final civilian and get rid of 1 crisis token. And then we're over to Wasp. Wasp will, so she's got a heroic feat, she'll add a Wild to the timeline in order to use a heroic feat to clear that last civilian and get rid of another crisis token. And we are back to Taskmaster, who is going to stay where he is, and again it's the same Dark Schemes, so adding yet another crisis token. So although we've cleared 2, we've got 1 more back out. We are back to Ant-Man, who has a punch and a move and a Wild. I don't know what to say, folks. This is not going well, and the Wasp isn't going to get out of that location, not with that entanglement trap there. So although Wasp has now absolutely cleared her location, she cannot move unless Ant-Man dedicates a move to enable her to move. Ideally she's moving this way, so we'll use the Wild in the first instance to get rid of that crisis token and then move. And then we're back to the Wasp, and she's going to have to use a double move just to get out of that location away from there. Oh, it's gutted. I'm just going to stay where he is yet again, and this time Copycat add a thug to Taskmaster's location for each attack at the bottom of the last 2 hero timelines. So thankfully there was no thugs to be added, so Taskmaster actually doesn't do anything this turn. A rarity and a breather for us, but too little, too late. We are over to Ant-Man, who has an attack, so he has a move and attack. Can move, can't attack, can clear a crisis token using the shield helicarrier. I mean, we did get down to just 3 of the 6 crisis tokens. We managed to half those, but that is as much as we could do. Ant-Man is now out of cards, and Wasp plays her final card, which is also an attack. And yeah, she can defeat a thug at the end of the turn. Shuffle your, search your deck for a card, but as you can see, there are no cards left. That is it. We absolutely got trounced by the Taskmaster there. So yeah, so although we've done fantastic to this stage, and we've actually completed every mission, this was our downfall. We did not defeat Taskmaster. Taskmaster has run away, run amok, taken over New York City. Wow. As you can see, really challenging, folks. Really challenging, trying to control the flow of those crisis tokens. Without that crisis tokens lockdown, there is no way to attack and defeat the Taskmaster. So even with just 2 health, makes no odds, unfortunately. So yeah, that was very different again, very challenging. I just love the variety, and obviously I've played against Taskmaster. I think it's probably my 5th time now, and it's just always so different when you've got different heroes. You've got obviously the different locations. That shield location helped a little, didn't help us ultimately in the end. However, we were completely overrun and overwhelmed by the crisis tokens, and then we got shut down from those entanglement traps, and yeah, and you got to see how all those work. I hope I didn't miss anything with the extra yeah, sort of the elite thugs and the explosive traps, and making it harder to get rid of the civilians, get rid of the thugs. I think I managed to catch all of those. It was just that entanglement trap at the end absolutely locked us down, shut us down, but yeah, it was too little too late in this instance. But yeah, fantastic fun as always. So hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you for watching, and yeah, if you've liked it, please hit that like, hit that subscribe. Just great to get your following, and obviously if you've got any comments, any observations, things you'd like to see, please write that in the comments below. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon.